I finally confessed to my father how deeply I resent his adopted sons. I am 24. My dad walked out when I was 11, and I grew up with my exhausted mother in a cramped Chicago apartment while he moved to Seattle, launched a cybersecurity firm, married a corporate executive, and built an empire. I do not say that with anger. I used to, but I have had time to process the reality. He was ruthlessly ambitious. My mother could handle a family, so she stayed. For a long time, the arrangement functioned. He flew me to Seattle every single month. He would meet me at the airport with some expensive tech gadget, a mechanical keyboard, a $300 drone, a Raspberry Pi kit. He called me his protege, and I absorbed it completely. I actually used to put that exact word in my social media bios. He reviewed my coding projects. He knew my computer science teachers. I never felt fatherless. I felt like I had a mentor who just required a boarding pass to see. His new wife was polite too. We did a skiing trip in Aspen once that I loathed, but I smiled because I saw how much my dad wanted us to bond. When I was 16, he officially adopted her 2 teenage boys, Mason and Leo. I told myself this was acceptable. I had stepbrothers now. My mom said I should be happy, and I genuinely tried. But the dynamic fractured. The flights got canceled. He went from monthly visits to quarterly check-ins, then just an automated $500 gift card on my birthday. I told myself he was scaling a massive company. It would stabilize once the firm went public. It never stabilized. By the time I started college, I basically stopped looking at my phone. I was still his protege on LinkedIn, but it felt entirely fraudulent. I was a digital ghost, while Mason and Leo were his physical heirs. The only thing keeping me grounded was our ultimate agreement. Since I was 14, it was an ironclad promise that when I graduated, I would take over as the lead developer for his experimental AI division. The firm even kept a vacant corner office on the 8th floor casually referred to as my future workspace. That office was my anchor. It was tangible proof that I still mattered. Then last Tuesday, I opened TechCrunch. I knew instantly my life was over. His company had just secured an $80 million buyout. There was a glossy photo of my dad cutting a ribbon. Standing right next to him, holding the titles of co-lead developers for the new AI division, were Mason and Leo, 2 guys whose degrees were in sports marketing. I dialed his personal cell immediately. He picked up sounding breathless from a celebration dinner. He said he was about to call with amazing news, and that they had a fantastic entry-level IT support role waiting for me in the basement server room. I do not know what broke inside me. I unleashed a decade of poison. I told him I spent 8 years watching him hand those boys the exact future he explicitly promised me. I stayed silent because I was tough enough to wait my turn. I told him giving away my division meant our relationship was a lie. I had been gripping the idea of that 8th floor office like a raft, and he had just set it on fire. Then I said the words that shattered everything. I told him he had built a real dynasty, and I was just the failed beta test he abandoned before he upgraded to a better family. He went dead silent. He hung up. 4 hours later, I received an email from his corporate legal team. It was a formal cease and desist letter, threatening to sue me for breach of a non-disclosure agreement if I ever publicly discussed the AI division. My mother is panicked, begging me to apologize to keep the peace. I sit here staring at the legal threat, realizing the brutal truth. If I was wrong, he would have called me back as a father. Instead, he sent his lawyers.